In what ways has land governance been successful in marrying the principles of enhancing agricultural productivity while ensuring ethical and sustainable land-based investment strategies?
Okay, we still have a long way to go, but there are some ways that land policies are actually advancing agriculture. One of the things that the Maputo Declaration talks about is increasing public sector spending in agriculture, but also private sector investment. So in order for private sector to be involved, land tenure security becomes very important. And the biggest private sector in Africa's agriculture is actually smallholder farmers. So in order for a smallholder farmer to invest in agriculture in terms of better agricultural practices, planting of trees, using organic and inorganic fertilizer, irrigation, they need to know that that land is going to be with them and with their children. And that's what securing land rights is about. So securing of land rights is one, but also addressing the issue of inequality in the way that land is distributed. As you know, we have a colonial history that saw vast amounts of land allocated to the colonialists, and they left a situation where smallholder producers were in very marginalized lands. So the redress of that had to be done in the context of land policies as well. We have issues of climate change and adaptation, and land policy can also use. Land use planning is really important, underpinned on land policy. So there are many, many ways that land policies are really advancing agriculture as well, and reversing the bias that has existed towards larger scale farmers and small to smallholder farmers. So land policy is really an intricate part of that discussion.
And from the sessions and discussions we've already had so far, we've established that land is very fundamental to the development of Africa. So in this context, what are your expectations and outcomes of this conference?
Especially working for the Land Policy Initiative, which I lead, it's really important that that platform helps to exchange the information that we have. Most of the times you find that researchers in Africa are not publishing in refereed journals where the information is. Our policymakers go to the journals, don't find research that is made in Africa. They are borrowing it from elsewhere. So what we are trying to provide here under the AUC umbrella is a platform where researchers can exchange with policymakers, with parliamentarians, and in order to enhance evidence-based policymaking and implementation. One of the things that we hope is that from the dialogue sessions with our parliamentarians, our policymakers, but also our development partners, is that that particular need that is emerging from what is already going on the ground is filtered into research, so that our researchers are better responsive. They're picking and addressing the questions that are actually real to the policymakers, and not just sitting in the universities writing their own research papers for publications, but actually making sure that, one, the research is relevant, it's appropriate, and it then filters into policymakers through the exchange with the policymakers who are here.